Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the JSE, seeming to have made a turnaround today, trading in red territory. Maybe there is still some sour sentiment on the disappointing economic data from China. We are seeing the all-share declining on the day by more than 0.5%. Those losses largely being carried by the Industrial 25 complex. They're slumping almost 1.5%. The Resources 10 complex there with a loss just shy of 1%, but backing that trend is the Financial 15 with a gain of almost 0.8%. Let's take a look at what is happening with the U.S. markets, and on that front, those markets seeming that they're not so buoyant today. Of course, we did have the S&P 500 and the Dow reaching fresh record highs yesterday. Of course, we are still getting earnings coming in, particularly from the big banks, topping analyst estimates, but we are seeing a cooling off there. S&P 500 declining more than 0.25%. The Nasdaq slumping almost 0.75%, and the Dow giving up almost 0.1%. Let's take a look at what is happening with markets across the Atlantic. Some economic data that we did get out of the UK. We did get the rise in wages on the months between June and August there. The rise there coming in lower than the previous 3 months, kind of giving support for an interest rate cut by the Bank of England when it meets next. Quite a mix, well, actually mostly red. It's red. The DAX is really relatively on the flat line, just 0.01% above it. The CAC 40 leading in those losses, declining more than 1%, and the FTSE 100 they're giving up more than 0.4%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene, and we start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. More weakness coming through to the rand at 17 rand 60 against the US dollar, against the pound at 22 rand 6 cents, and against the euro at 19 rand 21. Let's take a look at how the other currency pairs are doing, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.09, pound dollar at 1.3, and the yen just above 149 against the US dollar.